Hello there. Thank you for clicking and tuning in to this episode of the Juggle is Real podcast. If you are new to this community, I welcome you with open arms. I'm thrilled that you chose to spend some of your valuable time here with me. And if you are not new, welcome back. I'm glad that you are finding value and that you are returning for more. I'm really looking forward to this interview and exploring the theme of investing in yourself, gifting yourself, and taking control of your life, or perhaps taking back control of your life. And for many of us who are really just going through the motions of, waking up and doing the same thing day in and day out, or maybe not knowing what control you really have over your choices, or having a lot going on in your life with work and with family and managing a household, getting the kids to school on time, and everything that goes with this juggle that we are so grateful for, but that can certainly take its toll. This episode, I think, might help give a little bit of awareness and may give you some direction for how you might want to move forward. Joining me today, we have a special guest. Her name is Alanna Banks. She is a board certified hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner, a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, NLP coach, and is also certified in the process of timeline therapy. We're going to discuss what all that is in our interview today, but essentially, it means that Alanna uses subconscious mind tools to clear out those deep-rooted blocks that might be keeping us stuck. Alanna's mission is to change the way that people think so they can understand who they are and what they really want. She is a firm believer that personal growth and development are the best investments, and I wholeheartedly agree. So what Alanna does is really helps you jump into the driver's seat of your life, and we talk about all of that today. And as a very special bonus at the end, after we complete our interview, after we finish chatting today, Alanna is going to take us through a 10-minute mini hypnosis. It is a calm confidence hypnosis that is going to allow you to feel more calm and powerful. We know that a calm state of mind is really a confident state of mind. And Alanna is providing us with this 10-minute nugget of time that is going to be just for you. So you can take a few minutes for yourself to rest and to just clear your mind and allow that time and space for yourself. So this is going to be an episode that you're going to want to download. You're going to want to save it and come back to it whenever you need a 10-minute little reset, 10 minutes just to come back to yourself. And it can be done in the middle of the day. It can be done in the morning. It can be done before bed, pretty much anytime, as long as you're not operating heavy equipment or doing something that needs your full attention. But it truly is a gift that I'm so happy we are able to provide at the end of this episode. So without further ado, here we go. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Welcome to the Juggle is Real podcast. I'm your host, Andryanna. I'm a career-driven mom of 3 boys who went from burnout to finding balance, and I am on a mission to help other parents enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. What do you think? Are you with me? Let's get started. Let me take a quick moment to let you know about a product that I have been using and loving ever since my sister-in-law got me this thoughtful, beautiful gift. I have been sharing it with others because it has made such an impact in my life. I'm talking about the intention candles from the small Canadian female-owned company Homebound Tarot. So let me paint a picture for you. If you're looking for a way to carve time for yourself, to create special moments, sort of to separate the chaos and the hustle and bustle, and to create a little bit of calm for yourself. This is how I have been using the intention candles. Um, it's a box that has 10 candles in it, and each candle lights and burns for 20 minutes, which is the perfect amount of time if you're looking to do some journaling, meditation, if you want to start a morning routine with perhaps reading or stretching when you wake up, or if you're looking to do some creative work, even something like stretching or yoga. Each of these beautiful beeswax candles gives you that time for quiet and allows you that space to have that routine, create that ritual, and helps you to create these beautiful new habits. So what I would love to share with you, that if you're looking at getting a kit, you get the candles, you get this little salt pot to put the candles in to safely burn the candles, and you also get 5 incense cones, which smell really lovely. I know smell is very delicate for people, and incense can be quite strong. This is really, really quite lovely, in my personal opinion. And the roots of this small company is quite lovely as well. The founder's name is Ariel. She's from British Columbia in Canada, and everything within this company is very personal for her. All of these products have emerged from her own personal self reflections and her routines in self care. So if you're interested in trying, please feel free to visit them online. Homeboundtarot.com is the website, and the product is called Intention Candles. Homeboundtarot.com. And if you do try them, you'll have to let me know how you enjoy them. Welcome to The Juggle is Real. Alanna, we're so thrilled to have you here today. Thank you so much. Can you start by just telling us about yourself?
Sure. Thanks so much for having me, Andryanna. I'm really excited to be joining everyone today. So, my name is Alanna Banks, and I am passionate about self development. I've been passionate about it really since I was a kid, and kind of dabbled with astrology and liked to, read my horoscope and do quizzes and all that stuff. And, that's what's led me here. I'm a mom of two. I've got two boys, they're 9 and 11. And what else can I say?
You're doing
I'm
the things.
I'm
Yeah.
doing the things. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a background in many different things, but I've been an entrepreneur now for about 10 years. Prior to getting into coaching, I had an online fabric store, and have basically raised my kids as an entrepreneur, which has been a really fun experience for them and for me, because I've been available to them in a much more flexible way than I was before. And I also just like to prove to other moms that it is possible to be a mom and an entrepreneur, and, live a life that you really love.
And thank you for that. I think it's wonderful to see people who are thriving and doing what they love, pursuing passions that stemmed from childhood. I mean, I used to grab the YM magazines myself, and that was my favorite part. Quizzes, horoscopes, and that was it pretty much for me. So I appreciate that you're showing people, you're doing what brings you joy, and that you're showing your children that this is the role model that they can look up to, someone who is able to be there for them and also take time for herself. So thank you so much for that. There are so many things that I want to talk about today. I have done hypnotherapy with you, and it was such an incredible experience. So I just want to make sure that everyone's really clear on what it is, because I know that I wasn't 100% sure what hypnotherapy was all about. I remember sort of like university days, and like there was first year parties, and they would have like some hypnosis person would come in, and I think that kind of muddied the waters for me. But so you are a hypnotherapist. Tell us, what is hypnotherapy in short?
Yeah. So, you hit the nail on the head there when you're talking about that misconception. There's a lot of misconceptions and myths out there about hypnosis. And in my hypnotherapy sessions, I spend time talking about, what those are, get that out of the way. So it's not mind control. It's not brainwashing. It's not for the weak minded. It's not about losing control or losing consciousness at all. Hypnotherapy is an ancient tool, actually. It stems back to the ancient Egyptian times. And it's a powerful tool that really helps you focus in on what you want to change. It has a 97% success rate, which is really amazing. But what it allows you to do is really focus on creating some sort of change in the subconscious mind.
I love it. And it's interesting how, in going through a hypnotherapy session and having that experience, you very much feel like you're in the driver's seat. And that's how I felt anyway. And, nothing is overcoming you, but it's a very calm, very relaxing experience. It was for me. And I left feeling very refreshed, and very just at peace, but in a way that was like energizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting. So I want to talk about hypnotherapy a little bit more. And then I want to talk about some of your other expertise as an NLP practitioner. But tell me, like, how does hypnotherapy work? And for someone who might be thinking, well, I don't know what I want to change, or I'm not really sure, like, a lot of people say, oh, I want to quit smoking, and maybe hypnotherapy has worked for them for that, or some type of a change that is more significant from that way. But what about just someone who might be stressed out or overworked or overwhelmed, someone who's, undergoing burnout, or maybe isn't quite sure what change is required, but just knows that some change is needed in their life? What would you recommend, or tell us how hypnotherapy might help us?
Yeah. So, when I meet with someone, the nice thing about working with a hypnotherapist is you really get to the root of what is going on. So if we were to meet and say you're feeling stressed or burnt out or really anxious, we have a conversation at the beginning, right? And that gives me an opportunity to kind of like unravel the story that you're maybe telling yourself, right? Because a lot of our behaviors are coming from the subconscious mind. And when I'm using subconscious and unconscious, like interchangeably, right? So we have our conscious mind, which is everything that's in our conscious awareness. Like right now I'm sitting here, I'm consciously aware that I'm talking to you, that, we're recording this podcast, that I'm sitting on this chair. But subconsciously, I have a bunch of programs that are running. And one of that might be like, I'm feeling nervous right now because I'm, in the hot seat. I'm being recorded. I may have a subconscious program that's running where I'm lacking confidence, where I'm maybe feeling a little self-conscious, where, there are multiple things that could be going on under the surface, right? And I think there's an image that you might see of an iceberg where you see like the top of the iceberg, that's the conscious part, and the bottom of the iceberg that's under the water, that's the subconscious part. And that's where all of our memories, our attitudes, our beliefs, everything lives in the subconscious. So what hypnotherapy does is it allows us to bypass the conscious part and go into the subconscious to create change, right? So if we're having a conversation about feeling stressed and burnt out, I might say to you, what do you want, right? And the person on the other side might be like, well, I want to be free from stress. I want to feel rested. I want to feel energized, right? And so that's where I go in to extract some positive language. That's really important because the subconscious mind likes to hear positive language. I'm going to extract some behaviors. So what do you imagine yourself doing? How are you feeling? Who are you being when you are free from this overwhelm or free from this stress? Right. So in that situation, what might you say, Andryanna, just to give some examples?
Yeah. I might be walking every day, or I might be, enjoying time with my family, or just having a feeling of calm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would then like kind of take all of this positive behavioral language. We also want to get really specific. So it's like I might ask, who are you with? What activities are you doing? What do you see around you? Right. So we're really painting a mental image, a picture in your mind of what this life would look like if you're free from stress, free from burnout, feeling your most joyful, relaxed self. And basically, I take all of that information and then those become the suggestion part of the hypnosis. So from that point, we would then go into hypnosis, which is an induction. And the induction is really just a body scan, like a relaxation. So if you've done yoga or anything like that, like where you just do the body scan and you relax all parts of your body, this helps quiet the conscious mind so that it makes room for the suggestions to go in at the subconscious level, because the subconscious is where the change work happens.
Right. It's kind of like the shavasana on like overdrive, like where
Yeah,
you're like right before you're going to fall asleep at night, where you're still, you know, conscious of what's going on around you, but you're like so just relaxed and at a point where you're, just open is how
that's
I
right.
would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it was for me for sure.
Yeah. And so that's exactly it. It's like once that um, conscious part of your mind gets quiet, then that is where the subconscious becomes open enough that it's going to accept whatever is coming in. And that's not to say that, at that point, I or any other hypnotherapist is going to like fill you with like suggestions that you don't want to hear, because the subconscious mind is also very smart and will only accept what's in the best interest of the person, right? But the nice thing about having a one-on-one session with a hypnotherapist is becomes very specific. And like I was saying before, the subconscious loves specific language. And so at that point, we'd create this mental image of this wonderful life where you're feeling free from stress and free from burnout. And then you come out of it feeling refreshed. And you've basically created a new memory that is sitting in the subconscious. And the cool thing about the subconscious is it doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary. So it doesn't know, did this image that I have now in my subconscious memory bank happen or did it not? And that's how we can create the change, because all of a sudden it becomes repetitive. The subconscious mind also loves repetition. So listening to the audio recording, for as long as you need to or feel you need to before that habit becomes real, right? Becomes
Yes.
like showing up in your everyday life. And that's the cool thing too about hypnosis is, it may be a few days later, it may be a week later. I can never tell you how long it will take for you, but you'll notice like that, oh, I'm feeling actually free from stress, or I didn't yell at my kids today, right? Or, I was
Maybe I need to
feeling.
do one of those. We're getting into summer holidays here.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to point out as well for anyone listening who's like, well, where is Alanna? And maybe I don't live at the same city. And I know you're based in Toronto, but we did our session over Zoom,
Yep.
and all of your hypno sessions are done virtually, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all on
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah. So there's that. And um, you provide a recording of the session afterwards. So you can listen to it again and you can go back and tap into that state and have, that experience again. And so I feel like it provided me with huge benefits, but you tell me, like, why would perhaps someone choose hypnotherapy over another type of stress release or another type of change oriented, whether it's therapy or coaching or even just like self-care? What sort of makes hypnotherapy different or unique compared to some of those other methods?
Yeah. So hypnotherapy, it does have a 97% success rate. That's something you could like literally Google. It's very effective for long lasting permanent change. Now, the work that I do is therapeutic. It's not therapy necessarily. So I'm dealing with a very what would you call it? Like general issues. I'm not dealing with like heavy duty mental health issues, severe addictions, or anything like that. You know, we're talking about kind of like general things like improving your confidence, personal development type things, small addictions like, you know, sugar, or, you know, quitting smoking is also very effective hypnosis. So the reason you might want to use hypnotherapy is for self improvement, right? And to get rid of a habit that you're just like not into, or to install a new type of thinking about something. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. So disclaimer. Yeah. This is not replacing your medical practitioners. Definitely see those people for any major issues
Yeah.
or anything like that. But perhaps this can complement some of those other items or things that you might be doing, or you might choose to try this if you're looking to try to make change in a faster way, or if you're looking to you're not quite sure where to turn, and you might want to dive deeper in a way that's going to be easy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things too is there's all types of modalities out there. And I think you want to choose the one that feels right for you. Hypnosis for me, in terms of my backstory, was the thing that shifted everything for me. I had been doing like 20 years of therapy on and off for anxiety, for some fears, that type of thing. And nothing was really working for me until I went and saw an NLP practitioner and hypnotherapist. And that was the turning point for me. So I'm a huge believer in it. But at that point, I was open. And that's the other thing too, is you need to be open to the experience, because if you're not open to it, if you're just going to block it, if you're resistant, I mean, it won't work. It won't work for you. So I would say that if you want to try hypnotherapy, you really do have to be open. And I remember when I met with you for the first time, I don't think you had ever experienced hypnosis before, but you were very open to it. You were open to the process. You were open to surrendering to the relaxation. And as a result, you had a great experience.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So absolutely. I think this is something that can complement so much of, if you're looking to make a change, if you're looking to shift, and it can be a great place to start, or, to add in to something perhaps that you're already on a journey of doing, which was in my case for sure, in sort of achieving that better balanced state, leaving the stress behind, and setting up some goals for myself in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned too that you had seen a hypnotherapist who was also an NLP practitioner, and you are also an NLP practitioner, and NLP, just FYI, stands for neuro linguistic programming. So I would like for you to try to give us a high level explanation of what this is, and perhaps you can sort of help us through, sifting through that mental clutter, because a lot of what is, makes me overwhelmed sometimes, and many of the people who I speak to, many of the people in the Juggle is Real community are feeling overwhelmed, because we're just inundated all the time with, things that are going on at school, or things for our children, managing our household, managing our careers. Some of us have a side hustle. Some of us are going back to school. And so there are a lot of demands, not to mention, all of those other things like the economy and politics and pandemics and everything else. So what you do is help people sort of sift through this mental clutter. So what does this mean, and how does this all kind of come together?
Yeah. I mean, when we're inundated, especially now, inundated with so much information, you know, we experience it in our own personal way, right? And one of the beliefs or like rules of success. So let me backtrack for a second. NLP, or neuro linguistic programming, is really the study of excellence. So it's a bunch of tools that a practitioner will use to help you get to achieve success in your life, whatever that might look like for you. And there's a lot of sort of like rules of success, or these are like beliefs within the NLP world. And these are what successful people believe to be true. And one of those is to have respect for the other person's model of the world. And the best way that I can really describe that is like when we're inundated with all this information, it's coming at us like thousands and thousands and thousands of bits of information. And what we do in our mind is we filter all of the information that's coming in through the subconscious programs that we have running in there. And if you think of it like an iPhone, like our brain is kind of like an iPhone, and it's got all of the apps in there. And those apps are like, you know, your culture that you grew up in, the memories that you have, your values based on, you know, your programming growing up, you know, your attitudes. And as all that information is coming in, it's being filtered through all that stuff. And within that, we delete, we distort, we generalize the information. So the way I'm perceiving information coming in, or something that you say to me or whatever, is filtered through my own specific model. And then the same goes for you. And the same goes for, you know, your friend, your sister, whoever. And it's important because once all of that is like sifted through, that's going to show up in your behaviors, your emotional state, and how you're showing up in the world, right? So one of the big things about that I teach my clients is to respect everybody else's model of the world, because we're all perceiving things at a completely different level than anyone else. And so when you have that one belief, that's enough of a mindset shift to be like, oh, well, I can't really get mad at you for responding to me in that way, because you have your own way of perceiving everything, and I have my own way of perceiving everything. And it just kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, because you can move through the world, you know, having your own thing, knowing that what I'm doing isn't right or wrong, what you're doing isn't right or wrong. It just is. And we can agree.
And I wish everyone knew this. Like, I'm so glad that you're teaching people this, because I mean, gosh, all of these, you know, catastrophes and circumstances could just be alleviated by, you know, believing and knowing the simple truth. And it can be a stress reliever, I think, for many of us. And it can be sort of refreshing to know that we don't have to control other people. We don't have to make people agree with us. And, you know, if people have other opinions, they have the right to that opinion, just as we have the right to ours. And, you know, how freeing to know that.
So freeing.
Not to say that we can't change how we feel, not to say that we can't change some of those programmed beliefs or perhaps values that we, you know, aren't serving us, or things, you know, the habits that we've created that maybe aren't helping us anymore. We can certainly change ourselves. But how great to know that everyone else, like, well, you know,
yeah,
they can do them and we can do ourselves. Like, you do you and I'll do me. And, you know, let's just keep telling everyone this. This is great.
And we can just be neutral. And, you know, another thing that I do with my clients that's extremely freeing as well is a process called timeline therapy. And, you know, many of the listeners probably know a lot about, or have heard about, limiting beliefs. So beliefs that we've been carrying around with us, most likely since childhood, that are holding us back from doing something. So you may have like a fear of public speaking because when you were in grade 5, a teacher told you that your speech wasn't very good or something like that, right? And these are like beliefs that we carry with us into our adulthood. So like you were saying, like there's all these things happening and these fights or like disrespectful conversations that are happening, but really this is adults wandering around with programming from their childhood potentially. And so what
Yes.
I help people do through hypnosis and subconscious mind tools, through NLP, through timeline therapy, is help them upgrade their system, right? Like upgrade their programming to a more adult status. Because what we have a lot of the time is a bunch of adults with childlike programming, wounds that haven't been healed, beliefs that are no longer true about them, emotions that are just so heightened that they're not responding to situations, they're reacting to situations. And so the work that I do with people really helps reset that and get them back to a base level, clear out these beliefs that are no longer serving them, and, approach life from a more neutral, calm, and relaxed state, so they're not reacting anymore. And
Yeah.
also recognizing that like their perceptions are different than their perception, or that person's perception, or that person's perception.
So true. And I think we can all think of things in our own personal lives, perhaps something that was really triggering for us, perhaps some, maybe an experience we had where we did, blow up, or we were extremely upset or really, really offended. And perhaps the person on the other end just had no idea why that would even be. I think we can all think of circumstances where, we were either on the receiving end or perhaps the giving end, and this has come up. So great to know that we can go back, become aware of these beliefs or these thoughts or these emotions, these wounds, and heal them and create new beliefs that are more serving of us, and
Yeah.
allow us to let go of things that we no longer need, and move forward in a way that's lighter and happier, and more full of love. So
Yeah.
great, because I think just some of us, maybe we have had trauma in the past, or we have had experiences in the past, and we just think, well, that's the way it is. I'm bad at public speaking because, yeah, Miss so and so told me that I wasn't very good, and so that's just the way it is. I'm a bad speaker, and I'll never speak on a stage, or whatever it is. And that's a good example. I think a lot of people have a fear of public speaking. For me, and I think I've shared this before, like I had this belief that if I shined, if I went out of my way to speak my thoughts or to show up fully, that it would take away from others, that I would dim the light of other people. And it did stem from childhood. It did stem from, some people in my classes who perhaps, weren't as aware. We were children, right? And so
Yeah.
through processes like this, I've been able to go back and think about it and be like, well, is that true? Like if I show up fully to help other people, is that going to take away from anyone else? Is that true? And of course it's not, right? So
Yeah.
we all have these things, and once we can actually become aware of them, then we can learn new ways of, changing, or figure out what we want those truths to be. And I talk a lot about this when it comes to mom guilt, because a lot of that is not true either. But
No.
that's a whole other episode unto itself. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I want to start to chat with you about for many of us is jumping into the driver's seat of our lives. And some of us are sort of nearing the point of that sort of middle age, quote unquote, or, we've been preoccupied with, going to school, getting our job, getting married, having our kids, or, doing all those things. And, or maybe we're at a point where we just don't know what's next, or we don't know what we even want. Maybe we're going through the motions and we're starting to just pause and say, well, what do I want? What's next for me? But we're not sure what to do. We're not sure where to start. We're not even sure how to get off this like ever turning carousel. So
Mm-hmm.
this is something I think you can speak to. So what can we do? How can we jump into the driver's seat of our life?
Yeah. So, I mean, you touched on a couple of things, but the power of awareness, right? So, just even becoming aware through this episode, you may realize, I do have some some things that I need to clean up. You know, maybe you are feeling guilty. Maybe you are people pleasing all the time. Are you saying yes when you really want to say no? Are you,
That's a big
you know,
one. That's a big
yeah.
one.
Are you volunteering for all these things and you're just like run ragged? You don't have time for it. You know, these are all cues. You know, maybe you're feeling resentful towards your partner. That's also a really big one.
Hmm.
And these are all cues that you need to explore, do some digging under the surface to see, like, what are the stories that I'm telling myself? What are the beliefs that I have? You know, what is making me angry? What is that trigger that makes me yell at my kids all the time or something like that? You know, we've all been there. And I think just becoming aware of these little things, or even how you're feeling. You know, are you waking up feeling happy in the morning, or are you waking up dreading the day ahead? Are you waking up tired? Are you waking up low energy? Do you have anxiety in your chest? You know, we often feel that anxious feeling in our chest, in our stomach. You know, are you having stomach aches? You know, the body keeps the score. I mean, that's a really good book. I have not read it, but it's been recommended to me many times. But the body holds on to a lot of things. And, you know, headaches, another thing. Are you getting recurring headaches? These are little signs that there's something off. There's something worth exploring. And when I meet with a client for the first time, I have a program called the Life Amplifier. It's a 4-week or 4-session container where we really dive in and unravel the story, unravel what is going on, what's really going on, what is the problem, and then we go through some techniques using NLP and timeline therapy and releasing limiting beliefs, releasing negative emotions that are holding you back to help free you from parts of yourself that are just kind of like keeping you on this carousel, keeping you saying yes when you want to say no, keeping you feeling guilty, keeping you feeling resentful and angry or sad or hurt or jealous. And then once we let go of all that stuff, then you feel renewed and you clear the way to create a goal for yourself where you can jump into the driver's seat of your life and recognize that you are in full control. And this is a hard pill for some people to swallow, but you are in control of your results. The life you are living right now, you created. And that's a hard thing for some people to hear. But if you're not happy with the current result, then something needs to change. And that change is going to start with you, right? That
It can
change
be
is,
the hardest thing to hear, but it's also the most freeing thing to hear, right? If
yeah,
you're the one who created it, you're the one who can change it and make it into whatever you want it to be. So
yeah. And I
having
love,
having someone who can guide you through it, though, I think is helpful because you might not know those questions to ask. You might not be able to go through and pick apart the timeline or say, okay, well, I am resentful. I'm not sure where it's stemming from, And so
that's
I think
right.
it's so helpful to have someone who can guide you through the process or take you through in a way that is free of judgment in a safe environment in a place that is supportive, because we may not have that or we might not feel comfortable telling people who are close to us. It might be too close, or it might not, those other people might not understand at that point in time how we're feeling or why we're being triggered. So having someone take you through, I think, is just a gift that you can give yourself.
100%. And the way I like to describe to people is it's like you're in the maze, right? You're in the maze of life doing your things, and all you can see is what's in front of you. When you work with someone like me or, another coach or whatever, I'm up above and I'm in like a hot air balloon and I'm looking down on your maze, and I can see sometimes all it is a little tweak. All it might be is like one or two powerful questions to create a shift in your mind and bring awareness into something else, because I can see the end of the maze. I can guide you and help you like navigate to get to that end point, get to that goal. And I mean, I'm biased because this is my life and I love working with coaches. I am friends with coaches. I hang out with coaches and other hypnotherapists. But it is the best gift you could give yourself. Because there's no point sitting around feeling like this is just the way it is. Like, I love that you mentioned that a couple of minutes ago. It's like, no, this isn't just the way it is, because you get to create your reality. You get to create who you want to be. You're not just born this way, right?
Yeah. And it can be easy. I think oftentimes it's like, oh, we don't know where to start because we think it's going to be so difficult or it's going to take so much time, or just the thought of it is overwhelming and we don't know where we're going to create that space. So the fact that it can be such a great and easy and fun process is really, really great. And I am so thrilled to share that you are going to take us through a little sort of mini hypnosis. Before we do that though, so we're going to do like a 10-minute, not we, Alanna, you are, I'm going to just fully enjoy. I'm going to mute my mic and I'm just like taking it all in. So you're going to take us through a 10-minute calm confidence hypnosis. That's really going to help us to feel calm and more powerful and, bring us back to a more calm state of mind so that we can be more confident in those pursuits that we choose to undertake. But before we do that, how can we reach you? I know you have a new podcast, a new website. Where's the best place to find you for those of us who are looking to get in touch or learn more?
Yeah. So you can find all the information on my website, alannabanks.com. I also love Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I reply to all of my DMs. So you can follow me at Alanna Banks Coaching. I'm also on Facebook if you want to look me up, Alanna Banks. And then, I just started a podcast about 2 months ago with my friend Ryan Montes. So you can find that on anywhere you like to listen to your podcast. It's called No Excuses with Ryan Montes and Alanna Banks. And there we really talk about success and the subconscious mind and limiting beliefs and things that might be getting in your way. It's very free flow. It's totally conversational. There's short episodes too, which is perfect for the busy mom. And
music to our ears. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are kind of like all the spaces that you can find me.
Good. I'm going to pop all of these links into the show notes for this episode, so you can always check them out there if you're driving or you haven't jotted down all these notes, so you can find them there. But I'm going to let this hypnosis kind of take us through to the end of the podcast. So, and you can set us up for it. So perhaps, if you're driving, don't continue driving, or you can let us know what those cues are. So if you're able to sort of go and have a quiet moment, please go ahead and do that. Before I let Alanna take over from here, I simply want to thank you so much for taking your time and sharing this amazing awareness and the things that you've learned and how you're applying it and how it can be so simple and so easy for us to sort of take back the control in our lives. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And just on a final note, because I did want to bring this up, this is so important to learn for yourself, especially when you have kids, because what I found when I was going through all of this work, when I was going through my own breakthrough, bringing all this stuff into my awareness, and then subsequently doing all of my training, it really shifted the way I parented my kids, and it shifted the way I taught them certain things. So you're not only doing this work for yourself, but you're actually changing your ancestral lineage, really, because when you do this work for yourself, you're teaching your family how to treat you, how to respond to you, what you are and are not available for. And you're also teaching that to your children. And kids are the best people to teach this type of information to, because their subconscious is wide open. They're ready for it. So I just wanted to bring that point up, because that I'm strongly aligned with when it comes to teaching parents how to respond and treat their kids in a way that they're going to raise them to already have this mindset, so that when they get to be 30, 40 years old, there's just going to be a little bit of cleaning up to do.
Yes. And it's,
Potentially.
we don't have to blame our parents because we were raised in these homes that had these strong values and beliefs that were really positive and uplifting and yeah, don't have the limiting beliefs that may, cause harm unknowingly. And this is not against anyone's parents or anyone's backgrounds or anything like that, because as you mentioned, through the NLP training, right, we're all just operating from our own levels and from how we were raised and from what was going on around us. So
Exactly.
when we can create these lives that we're truly happy to be leading, yeah, it spreads to everyone around us. So
Yeah. It
thank
has
you
a
for helping
massive
us do
ripple
that.
effect. Yeah.
Yes. So I would like to just say there's notes in the podcast description. Share this with some friends who may need a little bit of help. Write a review for this episode or rate it so that we can reach more people. And from here, I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to let you take over. Take us through this 10-minute calm confidence hypnosis. I can't wait. Thanks, Alanna.
Awesome. Great. So if you're driving or operating any kind of heavy machinery or chopping vegetables or doing anything that requires your full attention, please don't listen to this portion of the podcast. And when you're ready to go into hypnosis, I want you to sit back and relax and close your eyes and slowly breathe in to the count of 5. And just remember that this time is for you. Nobody needs anything. Nobody wants anything. And focus on your breath. And breathe in again on the count of 5. And then breathe out completely to the count of 5. And envision yourself breathing in clean, pure, blue air. And exhale all tension, worry, and negativity. That's good. And let go completely now, starting at the top of your head and feeling the relaxation going all the way down to the tips of your toes. Feeling your scalp loose and limp and relaxed. And now your forehead is smoothing out. And your eyelids are becoming very heavy as all the tiny muscles around the eyes relax. And relax the cheeks. Relax the tongue. And let the lower jaw become heavy. You're feeling loose and limp and totally relaxed. Good. And now your neck is relaxing. Relax the throat. Relax the shoulders. We hold so much tension in our shoulders. Let them relax. And the relaxation spreads down the torso now and over the hips. And this pleasurable sense of relaxation flows down into the legs now, and through the legs to the feet. And you can feel that wonderful relaxation from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. That's good. Your whole body is loose and relaxed and filled with a pleasant sense of well-being. And let your mind and body give in to the wonderful restfulness as you breathe and continue to relax deeper and deeper. And within moments, you will become aware of a sense of feeling different. And whatever you experience will be exactly what you need in this moment. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes with this wonderful, complete relaxation. And now I want you to imagine the most restful place. It might be on a beautiful beach, or in your favorite place in nature, or some special place known only to you. Or maybe you would like to recall a time when you were free from all cares. And as soon as you see yourself in this most restful place, you will go even deeper and deeper relaxed, 100 times deeper than ever before. A 100 times deeper than ever before. So calm and peaceful. That's good. This pleasant, relaxed experience you're having now will gradually become characteristic of you. Why not let it happen? See yourself going about your daily life with a calmness of mind. You can, can't you? Whenever something happens that causes you to feel tension, you temporarily stop and inhale deeply and then slowly exhale. And as you exhale, you will remain poised, steadfast, and serene. You are strong. You are calm. And you are well balanced. If you feel a sense of confidence as it flows throughout your body, then calmness is power, isn't it? Now come back to the place where you last left your conscious mind. I'm going to wake you up now at the count of 5. And at 5, you will feel invigorated and refreshed. You will notice how sharp and clear your mind is. You will be free from tension. 1, getting ready to come back to now. 2, body feeling rested and refreshed. 3, awareness coming back into the room. 4, eyes fluttering. And 5, eyes open, wide awake and feeling wonderful. Welcome back.